Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you are a brand new subscriber or a brand new viewer. My name is Kyle. The Matrix Resurrections is coming out this week. I cannot wait to see the film. I'm super excited. I'll be going to see it opening night. I've already talked about the first Matrix on the channel, but I just recently did an updated review on the first movie talking about some things that I really gravitated towards on my previous viewing of the movie. Today and tomorrow we're going to be talking about the Matrix sequels. I've yet to review them on this channel, but I definitely have a lot of things to say about them, particularly this one, The Matrix Reloaded, once again directed by the Wachowskis, came out in the year 2003. The first Matrix is one of those movies that was absolutely groundbreaking in every sense of the word. It really nailed every single thing it was supposed to nail and more. Everybody loved the movie, so definitely making a sequel to that film seemed like a very interesting idea, but at the same time seemed like a very dangerous idea, because you have no idea where the story is going to head after the end of the first movie. It was such a satisfying conclusion, and Neo flying essentially made him a god, so you have to question where the sequels could go. Today we're going to be talking about The Matrix Reloaded, which is a movie that as a kid I definitely loved. I loved it just as much as the first movie, if not even more. Now, over the years, my feelings on The Matrix Reloaded have lessened. However, I don't think this is a bad movie, and on this rewatch, I still liked it a lot. Right off the bat, the biggest thing I can say about The Matrix Reloaded if I'm reviewing the overall film is that it doesn't feel like it's the exact same movie as the first film. The film is able to expand on the first movie's philosophical themes, but it definitely adds things to make the movie a more enjoyable experience. The first one is definitely the most popular opinion, and that is we get to see what Zion looks like. It is a real lived-in place populated by hundreds of thousands of people, and it's executed very well. I definitely enjoyed all of the scenes there. In my opinion, I definitely like the chemistry between Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne a lot more in this movie. They definitely feel like a real couple in the film. I didn't quite buy their chemistry in the first movie, and I felt like the romance at the end felt very tacked on and forced. It's one of the very few things that I am not crazy about with the first Matrix. Laurence Fishbburne is once again amazing as Morpheus. I mean, Laurence Fishburne is just an amazing actor, and when he's playing Morpheus, not only can you not imagine anyone else portraying this character, but you so just buy into him playing Morpheus. It's great. He really just always is a terrific actor. And the biggest praise that I really can sing for this movie is that I like every single new character they introduced in this movie. Link, for one, is a terrific character. I actually like him a little bit more than Tank and Dozer, and I love those two characters from the first movie, but Link has a little bit more heart in this movie. We have Niobe, played by Jada Pinkett Smith. It's kind of interesting that her husband could have played Neo in the first movie, so that's a weird twist of fate. The twins in the movie, oh my god, the twins are so awesome. And that one moment where Morpheus is fighting them with the samurai sword, oh my god, that part never gets old. I even like the Merovingian, as hammy acting as he's delivering during all of his scenes. I definitely enjoy him. He definitely has some funny moments. He's definitely chewing up all the scenery, no doubt about it, but it's definitely some fun moments. Persephone, played by Monica Bellucci. Need I say more? There's also the character of Seraph. Oh my god, this dude is awesome. I love the fight scene between he and Neo. And he's basically like this anti-virus software. I also really like the Keymaker. He definitely has a fun moment where he hands Trinity the key to the motorcycle. Good moment right there. And also, he was in John Wick 3, also starring Keanu Reeves, and co-starring Laurence Fishburne. Coincidence? I also think this movie is much funnier than the first. I think the Wachowskis were very comfortable with inserting humor into this movie because there are quite a few moments that just had me rolling. And then there's Hugo Weaving reprising his role as Agent Smith. Now, I'm definitely going to be talking about him a couple other times in this review, but definitely for sure, he is giving it his all. And I also like the Architect, but we'll get to him in a few minutes. Let's keep talking about The Matrix Reloaded. I definitely think that the story of this movie goes from incredibly interesting to incredibly thin at times. And that is unfortunately due to what is, in my mind, the biggest issue surrounding the entire movie, and that is heavy dialogue. Now, the first movie definitely had heavy dialogue. There was a lot of storytelling needed, but you had to do that. You had to essentially create your own Bible for this universe and how it works. And this movie tries to expand on how certain things work and how certain characters operate. And that's fine and all that. But there are certain moments where characters are simply just talking and talking and talking. There's one particular scene in Zion where the actor who played Crest in License to Kill, I can't remember his name, is talking with Neo. And the start of the scene is actually really interesting, where he talks about our use of machines. It's like, well, these machines are keeping us alive while others are trying to kill us. It's an interesting start to the scene. But then he just keeps talking, and it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, I think we can go to the next scene. Now, let's be honest, guys. We all remember the first Matrix for the incredibly groundbreaking action sequences that were in the film. There were definitely some techniques that had been used before in other action movies, but The Matrix really took it to the next level by just expanding what was possible. The action in The Matrix Reloaded is something interesting to talk about because, for me, I'm mixed on those sequences. I think some of the sequences are incredibly jaw-droppingly, insanely awesome. And then there's other scenes where I'm just kind of like, eh. Now, I do appreciate the fact that in every action scene, we have the luxury of being able to see everything that's going on because the Wachowskis did direct them well. However, I don't think they have the same gravitas as the first movie did, except for the Chateau Suite fight. Boy, this scene is one that I have rewatched a lot. And I definitely have to praise The Matrix Reloaded for something else, and that is its soundtrack. Now, the first movie's score by Don Davis is really good. It's definitely a score that's fun to listen to while watching the movie. But the Matrix Reloaded soundtrack definitely had a couple of extra hands by Juno Reactor, and it absolutely kicks ass during all of these action sequences. Like I said with the Chateau fight scene, the music in this sequence is incredible, and this then leads to one of the best action sequences of the 2000s, which is the highway chase scene. Now, they built a 2-mile stretch of road to film this scene. That is absolutely insane, and Carrie-Anne Moss did so much of the stunt driving. It's awesome. There is an entire hour behind-the-scenes video of the making of that sequence. I've watched it all. It is absolutely incredible. Definitely worth your time. I will have a link for that below because it is worth watching, people. Now, I purposely waited this long to talk about both the Agent Smith fight scene and the Architect because I wanted to save both of these for the end. For one, I definitely love the introduction to Hugo Weaving in this scene. I love the slow motion. I love the crows flying. It's a great moment. And unfortunately, this scene has what, in my opinion, is one of the most annoying little things that just always bothers me in movies, and that is the reflection of crew and equipment in people's sunglasses. Now, in the first movie, all of those sequences were directed perfectly. There was not one single amount of equipment that was shown in anybody's sunglass reflection. But in this scene, you can actually see grip and electric and their equipment in the same shot. I do not know how that was shown, how that was edited, and how nobody noticed that. It is so weird. And then there's the fight scene itself, which the second half of that fight has definitely been nitpicked and criticized and analyzed to death, so I'm not going to get into that. But I think the first half of this fight scene is absolutely badass. I love the first half of the scene. You really feel like Neo is in danger during these sequences, even though he doesn't remove his sunglasses. I definitely enjoy the fact that he is overpowered in this scene. And I'm going to praise the 4K transfer of this movie, which is the version I saw to prepare for this review. It is by far the best this movie has ever looked. And a lot of the moments of the incredibly fake CGI look a little bit more realistic during these sequences. I was very, very impressed with this transfer. And then there's the Architect. This character has been spoofed in Scary Movie, and he has definitely been criticized for being overly analytical or just being too metaphorical. That's the point. He is literally speaking in code. He created the Matrix. He's supposed to talk that way. He's like a sitting talking thesaurus. That's the point. It comes down to choice. And that's the most important theme in this movie. And I like the fact that he's like, all right, there's two doors. One door leads to the salvation of Zion. The other door leads to Trinity. And he knows Neo is going to save Trinity because he is still a human being. And having feelings is definitely the biggest flaw in humans. But it's also what makes us alive. It's what makes us thrive. And I absolutely adore that. And listen guys, I understand that him going supersonic definitely destroys all the laws of physics and whatnot, but it's the Matrix, so I can buy it a little bit. But I definitely love this scene. It's one of those moments that it never ceases to thrill me, especially when he grabs the chair. And I understand that definitely kind of breaks the rules that the first movie established, but nah, it's still a really awesome moment in this movie. Now, Neo being able to stop the machines in the real world, I don't remember how he was able to do that. I haven't seen the third movie in a very long time, so definitely when I review that movie, I will bring up that point in the third film, I promise. Honestly, guys, on this rewatch, I still really like this movie. I definitely love all the new characters that are set up in this movie. I really enjoy the humor. I definitely think they expanded on that. I really like the chemistry between Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, as I said at the beginning of this review. I like Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith. Laurence Fishbburne once again as Morpheus is great. Some of the hammy acting is a bit obvious and on the nose, and there are definitely sequences in which they could have been cut significantly due to pacing issues, because the movie definitely has a couple of that towards the first half of the movie and during parts of the second half. But definitely the highway chase scene, the Chateau fight sequences, the incredible soundtrack. Honestly, I think The Matrix Reloaded has a lot going for it, and I personally think people are too harsh on the movie. It definitely has its flaws, I am not oblivious to it, but it's definitely a movie that I very much enjoyed on this rewatch, and I'm definitely going to rewatch it again. I'm going to give The Matrix Reloaded a B+. But in the end, guys, what are your thoughts on The Matrix Reloaded? Do you like it as much as I did? Do you like it more than the first movie? Or do you like it less? Do you hate the movie? I'd like to hear your comments, so please put them down in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and give this video a like. The links to all my social media pages can be found in the description box below, as well as my new business email. Any inquiries, please send them. Thank you all so much, as always, for watching, and stay tuned.